Christmas, when all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even my spouse. Now he chose to sleep out in the camper that night, saying only, "We're through," as he ducked out of sight. Our hope for the future lay snug. Our hope for the future lay snug in their beds, while SpongeBob and Sandy Cheeks danced in their heads. And I, with my foot warmers toasty and hot, wondering if my husband loved me or not, had just settled down for a long winter's nap, when out of my cortex came along a stream of crap. Away to my laptop, I flew like a flash to download my noodle before it could crash. When out on the lawn, there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my MacBook to see what was the matter. Away to the window, I flew like a flash, thinking maybe the ravens had raided the trash. The moon on the crest of the new fallen snow made me want to call Kenny to bring us back home. When what to my wondering eyes should appear but a shiny, bald head. Could it be he was here? Then I heard, "Don't give up. You must do it until." I knew in a moment, yes, it was Dr. Phil! More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. "Now posers, now cheaters, now addicts and whiners, you catfish, wife beaters, can't match my one-liners. To a dual diagnosis, to a room down the hall, we provide sober escorts. Now dash away all." As leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky, so up to the housetop his producers they flew, with cameras and cue cards, and Dr. Phil too. And then in a twinkling, I heard up above, "Don't ever give up on the one that you love." As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney, the doctor arrived with a bound. He was dressed in Mabro from his head to his toes, the high-end Italian design of his clothes and the bundle of books he had flung on his back looked awful smart for this land of the lumberjack. His eyes have a twinkle, his dimples how merry. This was better than Christmas, this was better than Santa Claus times the Tooth Fairy. His droll mustached mouth was drawn up like a bow, and his spit-eating grin was as white as the snow. A stack of blue note cards he held firm in his hand. I inquired, "Are you here with your new diet plan? Can you help me get rid of my little round belly that shakes when I laugh like a bowl full of jelly?" He was robust and trim, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I heard him in spite of myself. With a wink of his eye and a twist of his head, he told me his reason for coming instead was to rescue our marriage, to help us relate. He asked, "When was the last time you two went on a date?" I stared at the tinsel hanging limp from the tree. "Does it count if we watch the same show on TV?" He said that we need to take time for each other, be lovers and friends, not just fathers and mothers. To start every day like it's a love letter, asking, "What can I do to make your life better?" Then he smiled and added, "To be a good spouse, you must look at yourself and clean your own house. If he has a flaw, find a way to forgive it. Ask yourself how much fun you want to live with." I stood there dumbstruck as he went straight to work, put his books in our stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside of his nose and giving a nod up the chimney he rose. I couldn't believe what I'd seen and I'd heard. I thought long and hard and gave weight to each word. It was then I decided to do what I can. He was speaking the truth. Now I had a plan. I go out to the camper and knock on the door and say, honey, what the heck are we fighting for? I straightened my hair and took off down the hall. When in walked my husband, so handsome and tall. He said he was ready to eat humble pie, because he just had a visit from this bald-headed guy. We looked at each other and let it all go. A bank of frustrations melted like snow. We embraced as we watched Dr. Phil fly away with his team and his beautiful bride in his sleigh. But we heard him exclaim from the great northern lights, you want to be happy, married, or right.